Hi everyone, so welcome to the introduction to Office 365. Today we're going to be covering OneDrive and OneNote. We're just going to do a basic introduction to these tools. As you know, Superior Greenstone is both an Office 365 board and a Google board, so we're trying to build up our capacity in our Office 365 tools. And so I have created a resource that is in the chat. You can grab the link there and add it to your Google Drive. Please feel free to share with your colleagues and to reference that resource after today. And I have a special guest with me today. We have Coulter Lewis from Microsoft Canada. He is going to help us with our learning today. So welcome to Superior Greenstone, Coulter. This is, so we have people sharing room space today, so we have more people than you actually see across the bottom. And as well, we have a lot of people who follow the presentation after the time because it's recorded. So thank you so much for making the time for us today.
No problem. Thanks for having me come on and share some resources that we have and walk you through some of our programs. And we're here to help and just explain some tools that we have. And if you can take one or two things from the tools that we use, that's great. And then we can develop those skills from there. So. So am I ready to begin?
Go ahead. I'll give you control of the screen and you can start walking us through.
Everyone that's joined us, feel free to jump in that chat, as Stacy mentioned. We'll try to answer those as we can. And if I go too fast or if you have any questions, please, we can stop and backtrack. I'll share my screen now. And we're going to start with OneDrive. So if you would like to, if you can, get into your OneDrive. Whoa, this is the, let's see how we do this. Okay. Wait, can everyone see my screen? Stacy, my screen is being shown?
Looks good for me.
Perfect. So if people are following along, it would be great if you can get into your OneDrive. Usually you can do that by when you get into your mail, if you have, or your school account. Usually there's a little waffle thing at the top of the screen on the left, and up should come a bunch of Office 365 programs for you. This might look a little bit different for others, depending on the type of system that you're using, but in general, the general concept is here. So we'll go to our OneDrive, and what should come up is something that looks like this. So OneDrive is your, to explain it, is sort of like your storage cabinet. It's able to hold hundreds and thousands of files, actually. The OneDrive on Microsoft right now is holding up to a terabyte of data. So to think about that, one full movie length is about 1 gigabyte. So you get about, so just think about your pages as well. Like if you have a document might only be a couple megabytes. So you've got almost infinite amount of space for your documents to be saved, and it'll be stored in your in the cloud, this virtual storage space. It'll be stored there for until you delete it. So no worries about losing it. As long as, even if you delete it, there's actually ways you can find to get back. It is a bit of a hassle, but you can usually try to find to get it back. So with our OneDrive, this is what should come up. You should be able to, if you don't have anything in there, it might look a little bit different, but I've organized mine to have some hints. I've got my pictures in there. I don't have any attachments at the moment, but this is where you start to save things. So if I had for example, if I had a Word document, my Word document would come in here, or we can create a Word document. So if I go to New at the top, I can do Word document. I can do an Excel. I can do a PowerPoint. I can do OneNote, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So I can do a bunch of different things. I can even have just a plain text. So if I open my Word document.
Coulter, is there a way to create folders?
Sorry?
Is there a way to create folders so it stays organized?
I'm sorry, your volume is cutting out. I couldn't hear you there.
Is there a way to create folders so that you can keep your OneDrive a little bit organized?
Yes, of course you can create your own folders. You can sort it here, and if you right click, you can do a new folder. So if I want to do a new folder and say I just want this to be second grade science. All my second grade science stuff can now be placed into this folder. And so that's just a I hope everyone saw how I did that. I really just right-clicked here and I right-clicked on a blank part of the screen, wherever that was. So it can be anywhere as long as you're on the screen. If I right-click on a document, though, this will come up. So this is a little bit different. But that's good to know, because if I right-click on the document, say I'm going to do this one. I have a tester here. So presentation 1, say I want to rename my document. I can do things here, and I can rename it. So now I can have, this is going to be test. Now this presentation is titled test, and it's organized alphabetically. So from this document here, I can also delete the document. Now, once I delete this document, you won't be able to find it. If you opened up PowerPoint, you wouldn't be able to find it there anymore, because this is your storage for all of your Office 365. If you opened up, again, you can move this if you wanted to. We can move this back to the home page if I wanted to. I can move it to my grade 2 science folder that I just created. We can copy this. We can also embed this into a program, into OneNote. We'll go back to this in a little bit, but this is where you would embed this file or place this file into your OneNote folder. We'll touch back on this in a minute, but yeah, and this is also where you would delete the files. So I'm going to delete this file, and now it's banished. So you won't be able to see it on your presentation or on your PowerPoints. This is actually very important for when we get into OneNote. If I want to delete a OneNote, it's very important to realize that you have to go back to your OneDrive to delete your OneNote. If you don't, you won't be able to delete. You'll have a file that looks like this. And notice on the left, I've got all of these examples. If I want to delete one, I can't delete it on the right. I have to go back to my OneDrive and delete it through my OneDrive, because your OneDrive is your storage hub. So that's where you would go. You would go to your filing cabinet to delete your storage. So this is where, again, now that we have these, we should. Hopefully by now we realize that this is where you're storing all your information. And here you're able to do, again, instead of right-clicking all the time, you can also have these options at the top. So if I also wanted to upload a new file, say I wanted to upload a Google Drive, a Google Doc, I can go in here, I can upload this to my OneDrive. It doesn't have to necessarily be a Google Doc. I actually don't have any Google Docs saved on my computer at the moment, but if I did, you're able to do this. I have just a picture that I took from the internet. I can open it, I can save it, and now it's going to be uploaded into my, right here. It's now uploaded into my into my OneDrive. Again, I just try to compare and give you some similarities. This is similar to the OneDrive of your Google, but obviously it's the Office 365 program. From here, hopefully this is giving you the basics of where you're at, and there's lots of different functionalities. You can obviously modify your date, you can change the size, and you can rearrange how you want to order it. So if you want to keep it organized, you can also do this with your view. If you want to make it a list, you can change it into a list. You can also do photos. I had it on photos, and I can do tiles. Tiles and photos look very similar. And I believe, again, if you go to the left, you can find out what things you've opened recently. You have your photos. I have a few photos, but nothing outrageous right now. And notice how they've labeled these for you. I didn't label those. If you can see, it says map and text and outdoor and video. I didn't label those. It recognizes, the program's able to recognize these sort of things right away, and it labels it like that for you. So it's a nice way to keep sort of things nice and organized. And then I have things that I've shared. These are things that I have shared with my friends or colleagues, or these in particular are things that I've shared over my presentations. So I know Stacy and I had a conversation the other day briefly about if I share something, say I shared something with Stacy, this is my file. Stacy will need to save that file if I decide to delete it. So say I've shared Escape Camp 21 with somebody. Now, because I'm the owner, if I delete this, that new person will not be able to open this anymore because I'm the owner. So even though they've shared it with me, it's not under my name, or even though I've shared it with them, it's not under their name, so they're unable to open that again. So if you do get something shared and you really like it, I would suggest making a copy yourself, and then that's your document now. And you're unable to collaborate with the same person on it, but it's now your document. Now you have a copy, and you can go back to your old, the one that was shared with you, and you can use that and collaborate on that. I know that was a little wordy there, so I hope we're following along. I hope we're okay. So again, this is just sort of walking through your OneDrive and really recognizing that it is a place for storage that will hold all of your files, all of your videos, all of your pictures, and then you can easily transport them into any of these sort of programs that you have. These are kind of limited, but you're able to actually put them into all Office programs, including Teams and Yammer. And I know we're not there yet, but you're able to do a variety of different things. And you're able to upload as well. You can also upload whole folders as well, so it doesn't have to just be a single file. Before we move on, is there any quick questions in the group chat that I've missed with regards to OneNote? Everyone okay?
I don't see any questions in the chat. Does anyone want to chime in with a question before we move on?
I think we're good.
Okay,
Perfect.
good.
If you come up with a question on the way, then that's fine. Just we'll answer it then. So OneNote can be accessible in a variety of ways. You can Bing it. You can just type in into your search bar OneNote. This will pop up to my desktop. If you have, say, you're using a tablet or a MacBook or even an iPad, just go to your browser and you can just type in OneNote. And it'll come up to the official site. And then you'll be able to sign in and go from there. You should be able to use your account, though, as well for your school account. And again, to get to that, you would once you access your school account, you have your waffle up here, and just hit OneNote. And that will bring you to it as well. From here, you can manage and delete some of your files, but as you notice, it will go right back to your OneDrive. So that's why the importance of recognizing what OneDrive is and what it does. Always sort of revert back to your OneDrive because that's where everything's stored. Now, don't get me wrong, it is stored in your notebooks as well, but that's the sort of hub. So if I want to create a new notebook, I can have this page that open and it says new. So I create new. I don't have to just do it here. I can also do it in my OneDrive. I do new, I do OneNote.
Coulter, can I just interrupt for 1 second?
Yep.
So everyone, you have the option of doing OneNote online and OneNote right from the client, the desktop version. And after the last few days, I've been working back and forth with our IT, and it is recommended that you do if you just build and work within OneNote online. There have been syncing issues and some other issues that they are working with, but if we just want to cause ourselves to have the least amount of stress, maybe just work and build within the one platform, and the one being recommended is the OneNote online. Sorry, Coulter, go ahead.
Oh, no, that's perfect. Yeah, the OneNote online is really nice because, I mean, it has all the same functionalities as your desktop version. There are a few different visual differences, which I can show you, but for the most part, it's the exact same functionalities. So once you decide to create your new notebook, wherever that is, if it's in OneDrive or if you're able to get to this page and hit new, think of your notebook as your binder. So this is your virtual binder that will be able to store all of your information. If you want to organize it, it depends on how you want to organize it. If you want to organize it just by subject, if you want to organize it just by unit, you can decide on how you want to do that. I find math to be the easiest one to sort of demo because we can do a unit, or we can do the whole year of math, and I can show you. You already have it. Let's do math 1. So I'm going to create my notebook. So once I create it, it's going to generate a brand new sort of template for me. That should look like this on your online version. And here you have what I like to think of as your tabs. In your binder, you'll each have a tab, and each tab may be your unit. So if I do quick notes, say I want to do multiplication. So that's my page, sorry. I want this one to be a multiplication. I can right click to rename this section. I'm going to right click and I'm going to put in
the intro to Office 365.
Oh, you're running it right now? Oh, never mind. No.
And then if I want to add another section, I'm going to go down to the bottom and it says section. I add section and I'm going to put in division.
Yeah, I built the resource. Actually, it was good. It was a good push for
And if
myself.
I want to add another one, I'm going to put it in.
I don't use it.
Yeah.
And
so are you syncing now? Are you?
And just to round it out, we're going to put in subtraction.
Yeah.
So now that I have all of these, in each tab, I can have my binders, or sorry, my pages. So this is a page right here. You can see my mouse at the bottom of the screen. Each section has a bunch of pages that you can have infinite amount of pages. Depends on how you want to organize it. So in multiplication, I'm going to have one page on arrays. And then I'm going to add another page. And I'm going to have simple problems, simple addition, simple problems. And then same for addition, we're going to do, for multiplication, we're going to add one more. We're going to add multi tens. So now that I've started to create my binder, I can now start to add the content into this. So you can add your content by a variety of ways at the top. This is similar to a Word document, but it's got a lot more functionalities in the Word document. But the outline and the aesthetic view of this is very similar to your Word documents. So, which is nice because most people are familiar with Word. So they've tried to transfer that over to make sure that people are still, they recognize things. So from here, you're able to add a bunch of different things. Right now I'm not clicked on, so I can't add a file, but if I want to add a file, I just have to make sure that I'm clicked on the white screen, or a white part of the screen, and then I insert. Now say I want to add a file, I can add a picture, I can add an online picture. I'm going to add an online picture, and it brings you right up there. I'm going to type in array for multiplication, and I'm going to add in this. I can also say, here I can add a bunch of different things. I can add text to it. This is an array to support any of. I can do a bunch of different things. I can do multiplication by 10. From here, I can draw if I want to draw. No matter necessarily, I have a touch screen, but you don't always have to have the touch screen. If I just want to use my pen, 10 times 10 equals 100. Find my penmanship. But here you can do a bunch of different things like that. And you can highlight these things as well. So say this is an important, that wasn't very nice, and erase that. And it's a nice simple erase. It's a one-click erase, even though it erased my one. But if I wanted to highlight, say we were focusing on just the symbols. This is the multiplication symbol, so I want to highlight that. And then I might want to describe this. A little arrow. And I would type in, and I'm not going to type anymore. My mouse isn't the best right now, and my dexterity isn't very good either. We're going to, I'm going to text. This is the and it does have your spell check, which is nice. It helps me out. And then I can move that. So if we did want to add some simple problems, so again, this is where we can add all of our things. If I have a file attachment, say I found a really good resource 2 years ago that I really like to use for maybe some timed multiplication, I might be able to go back and I can attach it by opening my files, and I can attach it anywhere. Right now, just for attach my business card. So from here, you're able to also do a bunch of different things. You can add your symbols. So here's my symbols. If I want to add a multiplication symbol, I can add all my math symbols as well. If I want to record audio notes instead, so I can auto record my voice. It'll load and then it'll show us that I'm able to record my audio. In the big picture of this, we want to eventually move into sharing these pages with our students. So our students will be able to get onto this and access this stuff directly on their computers or on their tablets or on their phones, and be able to do work through OneNote. Take a look at a sample one that I have here. This is a 10th grade teacher, and he's got all of this stuff here, and you can see that he's organized it through units and lesson plans. As you can see, for me, this would bother me on the right. It's got 1.1 and 1.4 and 1.3. For me, I would really get annoyed with this, so I'd have to move this. You can just right-click it, and you can do move or copy. You can also should be able just to hold on to it and move it up there.
Coulter, can you show them how easy it is to insert a video too? Because I am thinking about it from a student perspective. So you could have tutorial videos and things like that.
Sorry, your audio just broke up a little bit. Would you like me to demo what, sir?
Show them how easy it is to insert a video.
Sure. So to insert the videos, we're going to skip the audio. It seems to be taking some time right now, but it really is a simple audio, but for the sake of time. So if I want to insert a video, I can, I'm going to click on my sport, and so depending on what video I want. So if I want to just get a YouTube video, if I haven't saved the file yet, I can just go to YouTube. And I'm going to do the top 20 highlights of animals on Vine. That sounds safe and fun. So I'm going to copy the link. I right click and copy the link. There's different ways you can do this. You can open the video and then copy the link at the top here. But really most videos, most links should be able to just right click and copy the link. Copy video URL, copy URL at current time, copy embed code. All of these should work. So I'm just going to copy the one. I'm going to head back here to my OneNote, right click, and I'm going to paste. Hit enter, and our video has been embedded into OneNote. So if I say I had a video on my files, I can also go to a file, and I believe I have a video somewhere. I put this video right here I can open. So there is a max capacity for your videos, as you can see. So it's got to be smaller than 19 megabytes. It does take time. You are able to actually go back into your programs and sort that out to shrink the file size. But for our sake of time today, it's not going to happen. Let's see if I have any smaller videos. Videos on my computer right now. But you can, ideally, you saw that how simple it is just to embed a nice video into our program and be able to share it or view it. I look at this and think, if I got my students on here and I started to input my students' work and I had a video and I want to do that, I want to show their work, this is kind of a virtual portfolio. You can use this as a virtual portfolio as well for sort of parent-teacher conferences. And where else are we? What else can I show you? So are we all okay on how we begin to create a OneNote? Is there anything that I've gone too fast and I need to back up for?
I don't see any questions in the chat. Is there anyone out there with a question? Okay, so we have about 5 minutes. Can you hear me, Coulter?
Yeah, it's just for some reason the audio is just kind of cutting in and out.
I don't know why today. Can we talk about sharing and permission so that we can talk about collaboration?
Yep, sure thing. So from here, and in all Office 365 programs, they're now shareable across the cloud, because they're saved. They have to be saved in OneNote, though. sorry, not OneNote. They have to be saved in OneDrive to be shared across. So this is automatic because we created this in OneDrive. This will be shared easily. So I can just click the right button at the top right. All the programs will have a share button. I'll show you again. Right here, it just says share. And so all programs will have this on the right. I just want to send it, say I want to send it to my personal email. I can send it to this. Add a quick note. Here is a sample. And then I can click here, recipients can edit, or I can change it to recipients can view only. Depends on what you want, right? If you're going to send some stuff home to parents, maybe it's a newsletter, you don't want them to edit it, you would like them to only view it. You just make sure that you send that link. Recipients don't need a Microsoft account. You can also change it to a Microsoft account or an Outlook account. I usually just leave this the way it is. From here, I can share it because I've already got the person's name in there, so I've already got my email there. I can share it, or I can do something different and I can get the link. So say you have a Twitter account or you have a blog that you're sending out to parents and you want them to get onto this. This is where you get your link. Again, you need to choose can edit or can view only. So say this one I want to edit, I create the link. Here's my link. I copy my link, and now I can put this in an email. I can put this in a anywhere really. And yeah, this is how we make it. We make it accessible to collaborate with our colleagues and our parents and our students. So I'm going to close it, and that's how you share it. Is there any real? We got about 2 or 3 more minutes. I don't want to go over. One thing I can show you is we have these tags as well. You can put some tags in here. There's a variety of them. If you'd like to create your own, you can also create your own at the bottom. Again, this is for just to make it a little bit more if you need to do a to-do list. I like the to-do list. And you can click your to-do list off when you've checked it. So if you have your students and you want to make sure that they follow the checklist, right? So first we need to do our problem of the week. Then we need to, I'm going to make sure I got a checklist there. And then they need to do their simple reader. And then we need to finish. They can go through that and click them off as we go. Again, this is not necessarily for students or OneNote. It can be used for students, but this is sort of the precursor to our classroom notebook. So it's important to sort of play around with this, and then once you build your repertoire, once you build your program or your binder, essentially, once you build your binder, then you can start coming in here and sharing it with your students. This is just a quick sample of how you would do that. I would have a student here, your student 1, and here are all their handouts from student 1. So student 1 has got some handouts, they've got their class notes, they've got their homework, here are their quizzes. I created this one myself. This is handouts too, so there's nothing in there right now. But that's eventually where you'd like to go with your OneNote. I know this is above where we're at right now, but I thought I'd show you sort of the end result before we move on. And yeah, for the basic stuff, I think I've tried to cover most of the basics on how to use this. There are some advanced versions, for example, editing view, reader view, and immersive reader. These are really nice for students that are, I'm going to open up this real quick. I know we're running out of time, but this is, you have the functionalities to use this as a sort of a read back tool. So it will read back to you, and it will look up like this. And this is in the online version as well. And then it also highlights the syllables, the nouns, the verbs, the adjectives. You can also change the views if you want your students to have a little bit more size in the text. You can do that. You can change the background for students that have some visual impairment. And you can also change the speed as well and the rate of reading.
In this escape room, you will need to solve questions.
So that is under, well, that is learning tools in our, that is actually under view, and it's under immersive reader. And you can actually input sort of anything from online, any online text. You can even input a story. So for example, if your second grade student is reading Little Red Riding Hood, you might want, they can take a picture of the text, put it into their OneNote, and then from there they can have the immersive reader read it back to them. Or you can do that if they wrote it. Immersive reader is able to pick up children's text, which is pretty wild, some of it, and they'll be able to read back their own stories, which is pretty cool. So I know we're at 4:01, so I've gone 1 minute over, but I appreciate you guys letting me come in and share with you a few of these programs that we have, and I'd be more than willing to help you out along the way. If you have any questions, there's a bunch more programs that are available for you that might work for you, that might not work for you. So I guess it depends on how you want to use it, but they are there for you. The resources are there for you. I'm here for you. There's 3 other Microsoft employees that are specifically dealing with schools in Ontario, so we're all around to collaborate and help implement some of these programs in the classroom. So thanks so much for attending, and if you have any questions, you can direct them to Stacy, and she can forward them on to me, and I can help. And
Coulter, before we lose you, Dorian has a question.
Okay, I hope you can hear us.
Yep, I can hear you.
So we are having trouble when we share a notebook through email. We all have the OneNote icon on our desktop toolbars. And so we're having trouble connecting. If someone shares something through email and I go into my OneNote icon on my toolbar, it's not there. Like it's not transferring into the notebook isn't transferring from my email into my OneNote on my desktop.
Okay, so usually that's a syncing issue.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that, I know Stacy is, we had some troubles with the syncing, but that usually comes down to trying to sync it or make sure that it's in your OneDrive as well, and then it should come up into your OneNote. Try restarting your computer. Usually once it's shared though, it should be accessible to you all the time through your, for example, like if you can see my screen still, this one in particular, Thomas Low Math, that was shared with me. So I made sure that I synced that, and I made sure that it was in my OneDrive as well. And it should be there all the time.
So this is definitely a syncing issue. And maybe what I can have Amanda or Tricia or someone maybe this week or early next will do a hangout, and we'll look at the process together, and we'll continue to dig deep in terms. That's definitely an IT issue. Coulter, thank you so much for joining us today. My new learning today, I didn't know about the check mark feature in tags, and I am the post-it note check mark person. That makes me really happy. So my OCD is going to kick in on making me yet another list. So thanks for that. I'm going to just stop the recording now. On behalf of everyone in Spear Greenstone, thank you for kicking off our O365 learning. And everyone feel free to share the resource, and I will send out this recording as soon as it is published. So thank you all for giving me your time. And for those of you that are joining us after the session, feel free to contact me if you have any questions. Thank you.